everybody. I'm Charlotte Cunningham. Thank you for joining us on winningruns.com. I'm here with Kristin Reaver Brown. She's from Athens, Texas now, but she was originally born in California. She's agreed to come on and talk about horsemanship and give us some tips on what all of us can use to do better and help our horses around the barrels. Just tell a little bit of background on Kristin. She was raised through a horse family. Her family raised show horses, plus they raised race horses. She started out doing horsemanship and Western riding. You started under Todd Crawford, who is a champion reiner and working cow horse. You went to reiners, and she also did working cow horse. She's been to the NFR. She has won the Junior AQHA World Champion. She has campaigned many barrel horses, like, as we know, Bud Light. She had Itty Sis. What was the Appaloosa's horse's name?
His name was...
what did you call him?
Chief.
Chief, okay. And she also campaigned...
Class's kid.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're having trouble today. Anyway, she also did Rod's Last Ladybug in futurities. That's what you've been doing mainly now, is doing a lot of futurity horses, starting horses, helping clients. The reason why we thought Kristin would be great to do this show is because she has a lot of reining, a lot of Western riding type background, working cow horse. We believe that working cow horse and reining is a lot closer to barrel racing. You were a world NCHARA non-pro futurity champion, weren't you?
Correct, and I have...
NRHA, sorry.
Yes, NRHA.
Sorry,
yes.
I'm getting all the NRCHA stuff all whopper job. But she also did NRHA, which is the reining, and the NCJR reining, which is the national, cow horse reining.
Yes.
So you see how I'm so really good and intelligent here. Anyway, she has a lot of background on her horsemanship, and we all feel like barrel racers should be constantly working on their horsemanship skills to help our horses. I felt like Kristin was a great person to come on and share her tips, because she's going to talk about the rhythm of the horse, she's going to talk about balance, about timing, and it's not just basic skills that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about more advanced skills that help you, shave off tenths to make that winning run. So let's get started. Thanks, Kristin, for coming on.
Absolutely.
Kristin, we're going to talk about several things today: the rhythm of the horse, the balance, and the timing. You're going to show us some really interesting things. When you and I talked on the phone when we started talking about this show, when you started telling me some of the drills that we're going to do, I went home and tried it, and I'll have to be honest with you, I about fell off on a couple of them. When you started talking about taking your feet out of the stirrups, which we'll get to this here in a little bit, started taking your feet out of the stirrups and putting your feet back in while your horse was trotting off, I'm serious. I about fell off and my horse about ran away with me. So I have to be honest to all the viewers out there, I am not a very good horseman either, apparently. So we're both going to learn together. Tell me what you mean when you start talking about the rhythm of the horse.
Okay. Well, the biggest thing with horsemanship is it entails on working on yourself.
Right.
It's the rider who needs to learn the rhythm of the horse, the balance on the horse, and the timing to ride the horse. So,
and that's kind of your motto. Sorry, I don't mean to, but you were telling me that's kind of your motto. So then if you don't remember it, you can always remember that motto.
Yeah, and that equals feel. And when you get that feel, you can pretty much do anything. You know, a lot of people that I give lessons to will say, well, how did you do that? Or I don't feel what you're talking about. Feel is hours and hours in the saddle. It's going to take a long time to feel something. But if you understand the rhythm of the horse, that is the first step in knowledge of being a rider. What is rhythm and timing and all these things that work hand in hand? So I'm just going to go over a couple real basic things in the beginning. And horsemanship is not the funnest thing to do. It's like going to the gym, you know, it's not the most funnest thing, but it's rewarding in the end. So practice as much as you can on working on yourself and you'll become a better rider. So let's just talk about the walk for a minute. Some of you probably already know how a horse moves and the gaits and the strides, okay? The tempo is how fast that horse moves of that gait. So a walk is a 4-beat, and when we talk about a walk today, we're going to always start with our right hind so you can understand how that horse walks. And he's going to step with that right hind, right front, left hind, left front. Of course, I'm talking a lot slower than the horse is actually moving. But that is how they travel at a walk. The walk is the easiest beat as a 4-beat, or the horse's gait at a 4-beat is the easiest to teach a horse something. To bend, to collect and break at the pole, to turn. It's the easiest beat, okay? Let's now go on to the trot, okay? A trot is a 2-beat, okay? Every time I bounce in this saddle, that is a 2-beat. So every time, the beats of riding a horse is like music. You have to learn to read music, listen to music, okay? We all know some people can sing and some people can't because they have that talent, but you still have to learn that rhythm and that music of that horse. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can count that and start feeling how that horse moves underneath you. They travel in a diagonal form at a trot, okay? So if we start with our right hind, it will be our right hind, left front hitting the ground together, and the left hind and right front hitting the ground together. So now I'm in rhythm, posting, going to the left. This is called a diagonal. Okay, why is diagonal important to barrel racing? It is because you are in the right movement with that horse's rhythm. If you watch me post, I am rising when this front, outside right front leg comes up. What does the left hind do? It travels in a diagonal form, and this left hip is lifting me up in the saddle to post, okay? I'm in that rhythm with that horse. Now, if I sit 2 beats, I'm gonna change diagonals. 1, 2. Now I'm on the incorrect, and look at me. I'm struggling because now that horse is stretched out with that hind inside leg, and I'm coming down on its back. Okay, when it is stretched out, I am out of rhythm. You can see my legs, I'm having to pump my body. 1, 2, look at now how quiet I can ride because I'm in that timing with that horse.
Kristin's now going to talk about the balance portion of this DVD. Kristin, tell me what you mean by balance.
Well, I would like to first talk about, we just went over the rhythm of the horse and the tempo of how that horse travels and the speed it travels. Now we need to talk about the balance. As a person, okay, just like I said earlier when I was loping around, the horse is balanced. It's balanced from birth soon as it gets up. We are not. When we get on that horse, we're going to throw it off balance if we are not in balance. When we first get on a horse, it doesn't quite matter about our hands and our leg as much as the first initial thing is finding that center of gravity.
Okay.
And balance, the number one thing with your body with balance is you have to have the freedom and the suppleness within your body. Okay? You'll see a lot of problems when people are tense, they're tight. That horse feels that.
Right.
So I'd like to go over that perfect seat, talk about the balance of your body, and then relate what your hands are used for, what your legs are used for.
All that other stuff, and then you were going to talk about where your hands need to go, and then we're going to do some drills at the end. So
yeah,
go ahead and we'll be right behind you.
Okay. Well, the biggest thing that we first need to remember is we are a blind spot. Okay, there's blind spots throughout the horse. There's a blind spot in front of that horse. There's a blind spot underneath the horse. Okay, how many of you have had horses that spook over drains, or they see something on the ground, a sand compared to clay, and they kind of jump out of the way? That's a blind spot for them. We are a blind spot. Behind them is a blind spot, which as kids, that's the first thing we learn, right? We hear our moms say, "Don't walk behind that horse."